Do you think they could beat OKC or the Spurs in a 7-game series? I go by the name of Stealth. We got Doughboy Bush all in nowhere, and we back with another video. And today we're going to talk about what it would mean for the NBA or for the city of New York, for the New York Knicks to win NBA championship, man. So game one has already been played, and the Knicks came back in remarkable fashion against the Cavaliers. Crazy game last night. But we're going to talk about, the Knicks are making a run right now, you know what I'm saying? And being in the Eastern Conference Finals, being up 1-0. You got to win 3 more games, of course, but it's looking pretty good for the Knicks. It's like, man, they ain't been back to the finals in a while. So it just got us thinking, what would it mean for the NBA and for the city of New York and for that region if the Knicks were to win the NBA championship? But before we get to that, if this is your first time to the channel, please hit that sub button, comment, let us know what you think about today's topic. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? New York Knicks. Doughboy, man. Hey, so I'm a Knicks fan, you know what I'm saying? Sure. The Knicks pull out that win last night. I ain't gonna lie, bro, that was crazy. I was thinking the game was over, but they come back, man, and they showed out, man. They showed out. I want to say they said it was like a 44-11 run or something like that in the last 7-8 minutes. It was something crazy like that. I don't know the exact, but it was something like that.
No, it was 44-11.
Was it 44-11? Okay, so yeah,
44-11 in 7 minutes.
So yeah, the Knicks won in OT, 15-104. All right. So before we get to the whole Knicks winning the championship, do you feel like that was more of a Knicks win, or do you feel like that was a Cavs collapse, or a little bit of both? What do you think?
I feel like it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And the reason why I feel like it's a little bit of both is that I'll start from the Knicks side. The Knicks did not give up at all. Being down 22 points, they felt like there was still enough time left to possibly be within striking distance at 10, I think it was maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes before they actually started to make their actual run in the last 7 minutes. Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, they just did not give up at all. They did not give. That whole team didn't give up. They kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And then once they got within I think that 2 or 3 points, it was over after that. That juice, that energy got back into Madison Square Garden. The fans were back in it. It gave them more life and energy to go ahead and close out that game. Now, you Cavaliers, golly. Ooh. How do y'all let a 22-point lead?
I thought it was over.
Decimate like that. Fast.
I thought it was over. I'm like, man, this game over.
I thought it was too as well. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting there looking at them like, okay, yeah, I don't see him coming back. It's probably about, like I said, more than halfway through the fourth quarter. Oh, they're up. All they had to do was just keep scoring. It didn't matter how many points New York would have kept scoring. Even if Brunson and them would have still did what they did, as long as Cleveland is scoring, they're good. That didn't happen. Did not happen. Hey, I don't know what to say, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Man, James Harden, he couldn't guard a stripper pole in the stripper club, bro.
Man.
You can't allow that to happen. But it's also team effort too as well. I blame it on the coach too, because you brought in Keon Ellis for his defense. Purposes. Why, after James collapsed the last 2 times down the court where Bronson just had him on skates?
I think that's where it comes into play. Where I think certain coaches would have made that move.
Yes.
Just for defensive purposes. But okay, Brunson's getting kind of hot. Let's slow him down a little bit to get him off his spots, bother him, just elbow him a little something. But then when you have a coach like Atkinson or whatever, I feel like he's more so okay, let me play my stars. You know what I mean? I don't want to alienate my stars and feel like, okay, I don't want them in the game. But some coaches, they'll just do it. Hey, I'm trying to win the series. I'm trying to win the game.
You have to.
So you trying to make friends, or you trying to win the game? Now, and this is somebody who's a Knicks fan, but even I would have been like, okay, you're saying what's going on. But maybe also too, James Harden is one of your better offensive players. Even though he's older, you know what I'm saying? And maybe he felt like, okay, well, he'll hit a couple buckets. He'll stop the bleeding in that way. But it didn't happen. He went 5 for 16. He shot 31% from the field and played 42 minutes and wasn't playing on defense. You got to get him off the court. He went 1 for 8 from 3.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Hey, listen, you had Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder brought over from the Kings for defensive purposes.
Yeah.
slow it down. Like you said, the bleeding could have been stopped if you'd have put at least one of those guys in. It didn't matter. They're both interchangeable. You can put either one of them in. I understood the fact of, and I was kind of arguing with some of my homeboys about this yesterday. You're keeping Harden on the floor because he provides that extra spark that Donovan Mitchell needs in scoring instances. But like you said, you just read off his numbers. He had an off night.
Crazy off night.
So with that being said, you can't really do anything about that. So, I mean, at that point, if your star is not shooting and you need somebody to stop the bleeding, bring in Schroeder or bring in Ellis to kind of alleviate that problem. So that way you could have kept that lead. I felt like
it was a hell of a lead. I thought the game was over, like I said. But something that was interesting after the game, so after the Knicks come back and they win that game, there were fans chanting, "We want Wemby." We want. So that means that they figured that the Spurs are going to win that series. And I wouldn't say that, you can't really determine anything after a first game. OKC's they are the champions, the current champions right now. And they are, the defending champions. And they're not going to lay down, you know what I'm saying? And then they lost that game. That game went, did it go double OT?
No, yep, double overtime.
Or am I tripping? I know what OT. But, and that was with Shea having a bad game. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if they win tonight. It went double OT, and Wemby had to play out of his mind. Shea had a bad game, so to me that almost, it may not sound like it, but that sounds like it's in OKC's favor going into game 2, which is tonight. But we'll see. But going back to the Knicks fans chanting, "We want Wemby," they feel like they're getting to the NBA championship. They feel like they're getting to the NBA finals. Now, my question to you is, like I said, can the Knicks win the whole thing? And then what would it mean for the NBA, for the New York Knicks to win a championship? Because that market we know is huge, is large. I know a lot of the younger fans, they really don't have that reverence for the New York Knicks. A lot of the younger fans like players. They're fans of players. They're not really fans of teams as much anymore, unless you kind of grow up in that household or in a region. Or in an era, you're a fan of a team. And I'm not saying no young kids have, or young adults have favorite teams, but a lot of them are, as far as the NBA, fans of players. But in the grand scheme of things, what do you think that would mean for the NBA if the Knicks won a championship?
Well, you got to understand, man. I think the Knicks would have had at least 2.
If Jordan didn't play.
Jordan didn't play. Let's just And then another one they had when they did go to the finals, they played against a tough San Antonio Spurs team. So their road wasn't always easy. And if you were
lost to Hakeem in the finals.
Right. So if you were a fan during that time frame, you understood the New York Knicks.
I was there. I was a fan.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I relate to them as the Buffalo Bills, bro, of the '90s for football.
I can see where you're going with that.
You gotta understand, the Buffalo had a team that was going almost every year, damn near.
But nobody in the NFL was Jordan like that. You feel me? Because they played different teams. You know what I'm saying? I think they did play the Cowboys twice.
They play. But the thing about it is that you go there. When you go there, you
Giants maybe. I think.
When you go there, you go there to
win. But
but you go there to win because that team, for them, they were destined to go ahead and do that. Even like I said, with the early '90s and the mid 2000s Knicks, the Knicks were destined for winning multiple different championships. But Jordan, Hakeem, and I think Duncan and them were all, and David Robinson and them was all stood in the way every single time.
In 2026, because back then we know it would have went crazy had they won. But in 2026, do you feel like it would have the same vibe and energy if they were to win, or do you feel like it'd be bigger? Do you feel like, what do you think now it would be like for the NBA, right? Because the NBA is all about branding and marketing and their product. Do you think it would help them be able to lift up a team now? Because the NBA has always been about lifting up players. Jordan, Bron, Kobe, now Wemby, Steph, you know what I'm saying? Before, they're always about players, but now you got a whole team in the Knicks. If they were to win, do you feel like that would kind of change the way the sport is marketed or branded, or you still feel like it'd be player oriented, or do you feel like it'd be more so getting back to the regions and teams of people,
I would say it would be more of a regional thing. I think that if one of these California teams, especially if the Lakers would win, if they would have won the NBA championship this year or something like that, you don't have to necessarily be a fan of the Lakers to enjoy that championship run of them winning. I feel like that with the Knicks, but Knicks, they have a diehard fan base.
Yes.
On all their sports teams. every last sports team that's out there, they're diehard fans. Even though I think even if you're not a fan, you're gonna go ahead and attach yourself to somebody just based on because you're a New Yorker. So I feel like that would be big for New York. I think that it would bring a little bit more of a spotlight for those players who do become free agents that love the bigger markets and want to go ahead and go and say, hey, look, you know what? I can see this team actually possibly going ahead and winning another championship if they go ahead and do that. So with that being said, hell yeah, I think that would be big for New York. I think it would be big for their fan base. I think it would be big from a revenue standpoint for the league. It'll be big, and it'll be big for the Knicks as well.
Yes.
I feel like.
All right, so before we get up out of here, do you think they could beat OKC or the Spurs in a 7-game series? Because to me, I feel like it depends on what Knicks team is showing up. Because we've seen Jekyll and Hyde New York Knicks throughout this whole year, even a little bit in the playoffs. I want to say, like, against Atlanta, kind of, put the pressure on them a little bit before they just took over that series.
Definitely.
They ran through, was it Philly? Philly. So they ran through Philly, but now they're playing the Cavs. I don't feel like they've really been tested in regards to a caliber team of like an OKC or a Spurs. That's where it's like, but they did beat the Spurs in an NBA Cup, you know what I'm saying, for what it's worth.
Right.
And they were competitive throughout the season for the couple games they played, but I don't know. I mean, who do you think they match up better with, OKC or the Spurs?
Man, both of them will go ahead and give them hell, to be honest with you.
I think they match up better with the Spurs, though, as far as a matchup. Because I'm
going to say this. OG is a very physical.
And who do they have for him? Who do the Spurs have for him?
And then you got Cat, who's another big fella. I know he can't move as fast, so I don't know how that would work as far as them guarding Wemby. I don't know if you're going to put OG on him or if you're going to go ahead and use Carl, I'm saying, Anthony Towns for that. But regardless of the fact, Wemby's going to go ahead and get his regardless. Let's just
for sure.
You know what I mean? It's just going to go ahead and be that supporting cast of whether it be the Spurs or whether it be the Thunder. I feel like they match up well, in my opinion, probably with the Spurs than what they do with the Thunder. And I know I get knocked for this all the time, is because when you look at it, depending on what Chet you get, and Hardenstein, those are two bigs that you have right on that front court. You know what I mean? And they go ahead when they're on, they're on. And then you got SGA, of course. You got Caruso, who's another dog when it comes to playing defense. So, I mean, if I had my choice of which team that I would feel like will probably be better as far as matchup wise, will probably be the Thunder, I feel like. Possibly.
Are you saying that because of the Wemby factor? Because I'm more so looking at the players on the rest of the players on the team. So I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm taking the Knicks, supporting cast over the Spurs supporting cast over, Wemby's exceptional. But like, I'd rather play those guys. I'd rather play the De'Aaron Foxes. I'd rather play the Devin Vassell's and even the Stephon Castles over Jalen Williams, Chet, all those guys who just like a well-oiled machine. I think the only thing with OKC is the Wemby factor. If Wemby wasn't there, they just had like a regular center, OKC probably win this series and no more than 6. No more than 6. It might be a sweep. Yeah, it might be a sweep. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a Wemby thing, but I do feel like the Knicks they probably do want to rather would face the Spurs. I would think.
I mean, I think you know what it is that the reason why they would want to go ahead and face the Spurs is because of the factor of Wemby. Let's just be honest, he got robbed of. Well, I mean, I would say robbed because.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that later. We're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, so you got that. He won Defensive Player of the Year. Everybody's talking about Wemby. So it's kind of like, well, you know what? In order for us to be the best, we got to beat the best. And Wemby is considered one of them top tier fives that we want to go ahead and play. Now, it's not gonna be no short task for Cat. He better get ready.
Yeah,
because Wemby,
Mitchell Robinson's gonna get a lot of tick.
Right. So you got to understand, man. You got a guy. His wingspan is what 8'5" or some crazy stuff like that.
Crazy wingspan.
So and then 2 steps whether he's at the 3-point line or not, or the foul line, 3 steps or 2 steps, he's right there at the basketball at the hoop dunking.
Man, I think with Wemby, the thing you either got, I think it's one of two things. Is because you can't guard him. It's one of two things. You either have to get him in foul trouble, or you just gotta kind of let him dictate everything offensively for the Spurs, and then just tire him out. Hopefully he gets tired, and you just make sure nobody else has a good game or goes off. You know what I'm saying? You almost got to hyper focus on everybody else. Not saying don't just let him just shoot, but just do what you can. Get physical with him. If you're Cat or Mitchell Robinson, and then I say kind of like make somebody else beat you. Make De'Aaron Fox beat you. Make Stephon Castle beat you. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I would approach it. I'm sure it's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? But, but we're going to see tonight, though. Game 2, Thunder Spurs, man. And then game 2 for the Knicks and Cavs tomorrow, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific. But, yeah, man. So we're going to have our NBA Finals set, pretty soon here. Well, probably by the end of next week. If somebody gets swept, we're gonna know in a few days. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So we're gonna get up out of here, man. All in nowhere, I go by the name of Stealth the Producer. We got Doughboy Bush. We're gonna be back, man, with another video. We're actually gonna talk about Wemby too. Really interesting conversation regarding Wemby. I feel like he's gonna be the face of the league for the next few years. If he's able to stay healthy, knock on wood. But you know what I'm saying. But now, fun times, man. June is approaching really quickly. June 3rd, the NBA Finals start. So, man, we're going to see. We're going to see, man. Like, comment, subscribe. We up out of here, man. Peace.
Yes, sir.